welcome to Pretty Smart Rich podcast. I am so happy that you guys are here. We have a very special guest in the studio today, and I'm very excited to speak with her. And we're going to chat, guys, and we got so much value that we're going to give you. So if you want to learn about the trends, the creator economy, and what are the challenges that some of these creators are facing, then you don't want to miss this episode. Jo, welcome to Pretty Smart Rich. Thanks so much for joining me.
Hello, good to see you. Nice to meet you, Christina, again in person. And how are you doing?
I'm doing so good. Thank you for asking. I'm glad that you were able to make this episode and bring so much value to our listeners. I'm glad that you're here. Jo, let me introduce you to our listeners. Jo is the GM of Pop Store, which is a creator tool that you guys need to use. If you're not using it, it will help you tremendously on your creator journey, but it'll also help you to bring in the bag and to make sure that you monetize with your content creation. Jo, I know that you have been in this area for a long time, but not just as, in technology, but not only in just the creator economy, but first, I'd like, the listeners to get to know you, learn a little bit about your background, and learn a little bit about you. Jo, can you tell us a little bit about your background and where you come from so that they can meet you and learn a little bit more about you?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for having me again. So I'm Jo Wong. As Christina said, I'm currently the GM of Pop Store, which is an all-in-one creator monetization platform. And I really spent my career in consumer and consumer tech. So think of the intersection of consumer behavior, consumer trends, consumer products and brands, and technology platforms. And that's really where I spent my career in. I started off, as a management consultant, really working with Fortune 500 companies, thinking through about strategy and growing their businesses. And then I transitioned into being an investor and the private equity side, where I work with our range of portfolio companies and CEO, thinking through how do we get them growing their top line even more, right? Going through what are the right growth levers to apply? Again, always working with brands and consumer tech companies. So like brands like Reformation, Golden Goose. And then I've also spent time as a founder myself. So I was an entrepreneur of a education tech company. And that really gave me the chops of trying to be like, man, how do I really grow my marketing and my go-to-market strategy when I don't have any funds, I'm not a big company, no one even knows who I am. How do I go about building that branding, and how do I go about becoming an entrepreneur? So I've done quite a lot in my career and in my, across different geographies. I've worked in Asia, worked in London, worked in the US, and everything, I feel like all my different experiences have really brought me to Pop Store. So Pop Store is part of a broader company called Sold. Sold has powered thousands of entrepreneurs to really build their own businesses and build their own commerce businesses on the backs of live selling and short form video as a format. And really taken a lot of that learnings as a technology company to build this tool, this platform called Pop Store, centered around creators. I see creators not just as, influencers on a social media page. I see them really as engines that would power the next wave of SMB economy, right? Like 10 years ago, we had entrepreneurs trying to sell on Poshmark, trying to sell on Etsy. They're still going to continue doing that. But I feel like it's like almost like a next generation of creators will become micro businesses. And Pop Store is there to support all of them, right? So our product is essentially a all-in-one LinkedIn bio site, which allows you to monetize your time, your content, and access. So really, it feels like a moment where, I've done different things, working with bigger companies, being an entrepreneur myself, and also been on different sides of the equation, and it all accumulated in this really great role where I'm driving the business and trying to carve out what's the right strategy for us to go out there as a newer product on the market, and also making sure creators are going to get the right product and actually be a support to them and build the right infrastructure and build the right product that they truly need to grow.
Wow, no, that's amazing, and that's a great background that you have, with a lot of knowledge a lot of, transitioning from education, which I think that that's huge because a lot of the creators are selling education. I think that, education is the probably one of the number one sellers online. And especially that's how, YouTube became such a huge platform and was very successful. So I feel like the creator economy is going to evolve from that. And a lot more of the creators are going to continue to sell their knowledge, sell their expertise, and sell what they know online. And through LinkedIn bio, you are the GM. How does your day to day look like as a GM at Pop Store? For the creators who are listening, who are like, they're also their own CEO creator. So it's also, you're the business, but you're also the talent in a way. But then you're also, you have to be the CEO. How does that look like day to day for you, Jo?
Yeah, I would say every day looks very different. That's probably a very typical answer that most people give, and every day kind of feels chaotic. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not one of those people that like. I feel like all these great leaders always have this story of like, I wake up at 4 a.m. to run, and then I read, and by 6 a.m. I'm fully caught up. I'm waiting for my team to come online. That's not me. That's the opposite of me. I am the very typical, like probably aspire to go to the gym and then do a last minute cancellation on my gym class, and not and stay in bed instead, and then get my coffee and then start my day. So, I'm more of the that vibe, to be very candid. I think that a typical day that looks though, it's like, I think one of the philosophy that we have at Pop Store is we wanted to create something that the creators would love and can see themselves using. So I spend a lot of time, I would say, in two buckets, right? One is actually with creators themselves. So we do like strategy sessions with our top creators, thinking through how they could monetize better. So every day, I would say half the time I'm actually on calls with creators, learning, getting product feedback, understanding their struggles, being like, what could be better about our product and how can we help them? How do we think through monetization of different channels? Are we missing something at platform? So that is actually very important for us because we didn't want to create something that's like, oh, okay, cool. That's a fancy tool. So then the second part of my day will be spending time with, like sitting with our marketing and our go-to-market teams to understand like, okay, our challenges in, branding or strategy. We're doing a number of A/B testing now on different campaigns. So trying to learn to see the insights that they're also seeing, and really, we move really quick. So then a lot of it is like, okay, let's run this A/B test starting tomorrow and really going through the insights. So that's how I think of like my day, splitting time with either the go-to-market teams and also creators, and then taking all that feedback to our product engineering team so that it could iterate really quickly. We iterate really fast. Most companies I know do a 2-week sprint. I always joke that our company does a weekly sprint, sometimes even every 2 days. So we really want to make sure that we'll always continue being nimble, and that will be the success for our company.
That's awesome. I love that. I love your day to day. And I love how you were just so candidly honest like that. Because a lot of times we're so, as women, we want to be the best version of ourselves, or we're striving to be, the next version of who we think we should be. And sometimes that can be exhausting. And I think that hustle culture doesn't help either. And so it's great and it's very refreshing to hear you just be realistic about it, because honestly, yeah, days do go like that sometimes too. And then also too, like, our cycles have a lot to affect us, and that really too, it does affect us a lot more than what women like to talk about. So I thought that was really awesome that you shared that with us. Thanks for sharing that. I also wanted to ask you, okay, so you are in Pop Store, and like you said, y'all are A/B testing, so you're in like the nitty gritty of the trends of what consumers are searching for, what consumers are looking for. How are you finding these trends, and what are you seeing in the trends for the creator economy?
Yeah. I think that like overall we've seen kind of like, I see 3 kind of big trends that have been coming up a lot, and I think will shape the creator economy in moving forward. I think one, I call it the death of websites. I think gone will be the day where every creator feels like I need to go hire some company and like pay for this website that I don't know how to update. And when I want to update it, I need to ask someone to help me again, right? Because building a website is pretty hard. I really truly think that world has changed because of the way consumers like to consume content. We're also social media forward. We're also vertical format forward, mobile forward, right? Mobile first. So I really think that what you'll see, what a lot of creators need, right, is more of a mini site. It's just one single landing page where all their monetization and all their tools and all of their links, everything sits. And that's all they need. And it has to be managed on the go, because that's really going to be the way that creators can update their content and actually update monetization, like any format that they want to monetize quickly. And it's also perfect and prime in the format that the users would want to consume it in, right? Versus a desktop that is always like multiple pages. You have to click like 5 things, very archaic. Submit a form if you like to set up time with me. I think those really will be gone for creators, at least for them to be nimble. It really has to be a single page mini site, and that's what I call it. And then the second thing that I really see, and a lot of creators have always talked about it, is really coming back to audience ownership. I always ask creators this, right? Great, you have 10 million followers on TikTok, 10 million followers on Instagram, 10 million followers on YouTube. How many of them do you know, right? How many of them can you reach out tomorrow if you were to launch a boot camp? Can you reach them? And most of them will be like, oh, I probably know 10 of them. I have their emails. I think that mindset is going to rapidly change. And you already see it shifting in creators. I think more and more creators are realizing that it's great to have like use. I see social media really as like a large marketing funnel, right? Like you want to be on there, you need to market and gain that. But more importantly, just that the 10 million followers is about distilling those followers down to a place where you can own their relationship and truly engage with them. It's about very old school, going back old school is lead funnel management, right? It's like collecting their emails, and collecting their contact information, but doing it in not like a subscribe to my newsletter way, but more in a very engaging content forward led way. So I think audience ownership will really become a huge theme in order for creators to truly be successful and go beyond just brand deals, go beyond just being a face on social media. And I think lastly, more and more creators will realize that I think one of the biggest assets that creators has that they don't monetize as well is actually monetizing access to them. Think about it, right? And that could apply to any creator of any size. Is what do you have that's uniquely yours? Like you said just now, education is a really big theme, right? For creators today to teach someone about something. That's really monetizing exclusive access to your experience and content that no one else has. And then if you're an entertainer or fashion or larger creator, is monetizing that one-on-one access to you. That could be a live class, that could be a DM, that could be one-on-one coaching. The formats would vary, but it's all about monetizing something that's exclusively yours and kind of framing that unique access to you is like, only I can talk about this and you want that one-on-one FaceTime with me. I think that's going to be something that we see take off more and more on the backs of like shared community that people already are starting to build.
Wow, those are some great trends. And I think that a lot of the influencers and creators are seeing that. What do you see with the trends in the purchasing power of like buying? Because like, live shopping on TikTok is tremendously popular and it's just going to grow in tremendous, popularity. And then also too, I'm sure that Instagram is going to come out with theirs because any, competition, they want to also compete. So what do you think about live shopping and the shopping side of the trends?
Mm-hmm. That's a great question, actually. So, like the parent company that owns that PopStore is part of is called Come & Sold, and it's actually the leading live selling software in the country. We've done over 5 billion in GMV since inception, just majoritarily on live selling. I think that what makes live selling such an incredible power tool is the fact that it comes down to community. And what we've learned along the years, and even if you study like, the Asian markets that really do live selling well, right? That is such a big phenomenon there. It really always comes down to community. It's like you as an influencer, you as a creator can sell anything to your community and they go, I love Christina so much. She tells me to buy that blouse. I'm buying it. I love that top on her. It could be skincare, it could be a course, it could be a digital download. Doesn't matter what it is, right? Live selling only works, especially really if you have a great community that wants to interact with you that way. So it really comes down to the trend I was talking about, right? It's about owning that audience, owning that, having that ownership, and owning a real community. People that you can go, hey, Christina, like, you know them by their first names, you know them. That's really what makes lives really appealing, especially even if you look at the use cases in China. And we've seen that to be successful for us. I think that if a live is just based on very transaction, you'll be great at getting someone to buy once. But then would they join again to buy another digital download? Would they join again to buy another, beauty item? They may not, right? Because if it becomes very transactional, they can just find someone. For creators to be successful, it all comes down to what is your uniqueness? What are you staying for? And then cultivate that community around you so you have true influence over them and that you're not just one of the people they stumbled upon and you happen to be selling it at a discount. I think that won't really get that scalable revenue that and influence that creators are looking for.
And with all of these trends that we're seeing with creators and the trends that they need to stick to so that they can evolve as the platforms evolve, and now with shopping, who has the most influence, or just to share with your community on the brand side of things, how do you see what are you seeing with the struggle with creators struggling with? What have you seen that the creators are really struggling with?
Yeah, I think a lot of like creators, the first way they think about monetization is always brand deals, right? It's like, okay, I'm gonna do one Instagram post for X dollar. My rate is this, or my reel is this, and that's really traditionally what influencer marketing was built upon on, right? It's always that classic number of posts, and you post and then you do like hashtag ad, like hashtag sponsor post. I think that's really what a lot of brands and how they have interacted with creators, right? And that's how creators have always monetized themselves with brands. I think brand deals are important because it lends credibility to a creator, right? For you to say, hey, I'm a partner of Fashion Nova, I'm a partner of Zara, Lululemon, it always has that halo effect, right? And I think it's really important. But one of the downside of brand deals for creators is really that they're not scalable and they're not dependable, right? Because it's typically like, hey, it's a 2-post program. Not all creators can land a multi-year deal with a brand. So then what happens to you as a creator is that you lose that planning ahead, right? You're like, okay, great. It's like, honestly, just income you make for 2 posts, it might be over 2 months, and then that's it. They may or may not engage with you again, really depending on their brand budget, where to go with campaign planning. So you lose that control and you lose the element to figure out how to build your brand as a creator, right? And I think the second downside to brand only relying on brand deals is also the fact that you don't even know who's clicking and checking out. So like imagine sending thousands and hundreds of thousands of traffic to a brand's post, right? A brand's PDP, and they all check out. But ultimately, you don't know who they are. You don't know who your followers actually transacted. You're really blinded by data. So like, it's great. I think it's great, again, for the top of the funnel, marketing yourself and building a brand around you as a creator. But then you need to augment and supplement that with other types of revenue streams, other types of revenue, kind of monetization channels that will make you build that presence and build that brand for yourself in the world.
Wow. No, yeah, that's true. That's really, really true. And I'm glad that a lot of, creators are starting to realize that when you look for when creators join Pop Store, do you help them with any trends as well? Do you guys support them in any way?
Yeah, we as a team definitely do. So we do strategy. We do, of course, for the larger creators that are on platform, we do a very much a strategy, red carpet kind of VIP support, not just like, oh, I don't know how to set this up, but we actually help you think through, hey, you're a fitness creator. This trend is really big in the fitness world. This will make a great digital download. So we do this both in a one-to-one motion. We also do it in what I call one-to-many. So we have this on our help center. We have this we'll put it up on our YouTube. So it's all about helping creators to think about, all right, I am a fitness creator. This is what my audience typically looks for. How do I then think about the different formats that I monetize? Because I realize that's that leap that not all creators can do or they think about, right? It's usually like, oh, I want to do brand deals. Okay, maybe. A lot of creators always be like, Joe, like, why would anyone buy my digital download? I'm like, Because they want to work out with you. Like you have all these cool tips or like, even for a beauty creator, how to manage hair and humidity and makeup that doesn't sweat and go away. That's a great video that you could put behind a paywall. That's also a great digital download. So I think our role is really understand and help creators think through all this. And that's, like I said, either through a one-to-one kind of very VIP support way, or we do also like these mass classes and different blogs that people can read and YouTube shorts.
Oh, wow. That's really great. I love how you give them, the VIP, exclusivity so that when they join, Pop Store, they're able to not only just, join a link or join a tech tool that helps them generate their income or monetize their content, but that you guys are also supportive because you guys are, looking, listening, watching, and you're taking their content into consideration and actually saying like, hey, here's another way to make some money. So I think that that's huge. I don't see many other tech content tools, creator tools doing that. So that's even more great for all that. So yeah.
We really want to be a part of their success and be a part of their journey. I want the creators to feel like they're in control, and I want them to know that like we're truly business partners for them, right? It's strategy, is features, is what, tell me what you need to grow and let me help you along that journey. And we want to be able to support that across different types of creators. Because if you look at our product at Pop Store, we're really such a good, anyone can use us, and because anyone can monetize themselves in multiple different channels and formats, and we support all of that. And you can find it all on the LinkedIn bio, right? All in one mini site that we power. And I think that's our big passion of mine, to be there as a supporting partner. And we don't want that to change.
No, that's awesome. So with the support and with, now the business side of, the creator economy, what do you see in the future? What are you guys seeing in the future that's going to evolve in the creator economy, or just, in the apps? Tariffs are also a factor. They've changed culture tremendously. But what do you see in the future? What are you seeing in the future for the business of a creator? They themselves are the business. They're utilizing these social media apps, and they're turning their content into money. And they're creating the content and they're getting rich off this content. What is something that you're seeing that in the future that maybe people are not aware of?
Yeah. I think that more and more, exactly how you put it, more and more creators are going to realize that they need to view themselves as a business, right? Not just as a supporting business of a brand or a supporting business of one of the big, tech platforms and social media platforms. They themselves have to be a business, and that goes through like different motions, right? I think they will realize that, okay, I have to now think about marketing, strategy. Where do I go? Oh no, not every, I have to establish myself as a business. I think it goes of all the little things that you go through the motion of setting up a business and then scaling yourself from there. You're going to see more and more different tools and creator platforms popping up in the tech side to support this like versioning growth in entrepreneurs, true entrepreneurs in the creator space. I think that's going to be one trend that you can't stop. And I think that I think the second key evolution of this, right? It's also, because they're going to want to be a business, they realize they need to own their audience. It comes back to all the trends I said we'll see that kind of take off in a really big way. You'll realize that it's truly owning your audience and owning your community. And I don't mean that by like, I can just go on a marketplace and DM all of them at the same time. It's actually knowing all their emails, all their contact information. I call it marketing, old school marketing, for like marketing 101, that you need their email, create a lead list. I think they're going to really have to think about all that. And what will change, and with evolution of companies like us coming to the market, is that we have to support them, but yet in a very creative way. I think if you ask them to manage a true like email marketing CRM, they're never going to be able to get there because they're on the go. They're always shooting on their phones, and they're always probably at like 5 photo shoots or 5 content shoots in a week. So you can't expect them to sit there on a laptop and be like, oh, let me download my lead list, create segmentation, and do CRM. That's not going to happen, right? Most of the creators I work with don't have a laptop. So then you're going to see a lot of creator tools to then help them become businesses and help them think about audience ownership, but in a very mobile first friendly. So for us, our entire Pop Store is built for the mobile browser. You don't even need to manage it on your laptop, and we're not optimized for the laptop at all, right? Everything is done through your phone, and that's really meant for it to be on the go, to showcase who you are as a creator instead of, making it very overproduction. So I think that's going to be another big thing we'll see as creators become businesses. Then the step 2 is they want to own their audience, and you're going to see all these different tools that will come out and help them get there, right? And then we'll see them really powering, I think, the next phase of entrepreneurship in the world as we know it.
Power to the people. I think that that's great. And that's exactly what we need. And I think that, entrepreneurs see the opportunity through the content creation, and they see the content creation as an opportunity for, digital downloads that once before was thought about as just a lecture from a teacher who handed out, this paper to you in class, and you went through it and you made the tests and you just, sat in front of the teacher. And it's crazy because like a lot of the creators, if they're not entertaining, because some of these entertainers are great. And great entertainers, great entertainment, better than what's on TV. And it's literally a mini TV that's now, in our hands, where they can entertain us with their, funny jokes, or with their skits, or with just their personality and persona. And being able to turn that into a business is really important. And I think that Pop Store really empowers them to do that. And I think that it's great to see that, it's growing, right? And it's going to be like tech tools like you guys that are going to continue to build the tech and continue to building that out. That's awesome. I see that. That's really, really great. Are there any last words before we, it's been great, lovely speaking with you. Are there any last words you want to share with, our listeners who are listening, who, might be interested in learning about Pop Store, but then also to just, about their creator journey and just, content making themselves as a business?
If you're a creator out there listening to this, I would say don't feel overwhelmed and don't feel like you have to be perfect before you start your monetization journey. Just put out one video at a time, put out one digital download at a time, put up one subscription at a time, and figure it out from there. You should really just don't be worried that, I have to get the perfect digital download so that people will buy it. You can start small, iterate, and then actually test. And that's how a lot of startups do it, right? They fail fast and they iterate. So that's what I would encourage creators to think about it as well, right? Put up a piece of content. Okay, that didn't work as well as a digital download. All right, let me try something else. And don't be afraid to do it. And don't wait for perfection to come, because perfection often never comes. And things often work out in a different way than we expect it to.
Yep, absolutely. Love that. Jo, thanks so much for joining me on today's episode. Guys, we are actually going to do this as a series. So Jo is going to be joining me back again. So stay tuned for the next episode. We're going to be diving deep a little bit more into the creator economy and the business side. So you don't want to miss that episode too. And Jo, if any of the listeners want to connect with you, where can they connect with you on LinkedIn? And also too, can they sign up for Pop Store and try it out?
Absolutely. Connect with me on LinkedIn. Happy to answer any questions, whatever may be creator, or the fact that I don't wake up early in the morning to work out like a crazy person. Just find me on LinkedIn. That'll be the best place. And also, Pop Store is free to use and free to sign up. So just sign up at get.pop.store, and then we can always link it here as well.
Yep, absolutely, guys. We'll link it below in the description of this episode so that you guys can try it out for yourselves, and we know that you're going to love it. Well, Jo, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for tuning in, for, letting me speak with you and talk with you. And guys, thank you so much for tuning in to Pretty Smart Rich, for lending me your ears, and peace and love. Bye.
Bye.